guess what is in the swamp? A particularly good episode. Actually, this is probably the best one yet for this series that I got to admit I was not completely enamored with. But this episode, Brilliant Disguise, episode 7 of the series that's already been canceled. But anyway, we have a scene that I figured I wouldn't care for too much, and there was a bit of silliness here and there between Abby and Alec. At least I guess the hallucination version, but not quite the hallucination version, because a Swamp Thing had released some sort of strange pollen that caused Abby to see him looking like Alec. Yeah, I never really cared for this portrayal of Alec Holland, but, you know, it is what it is. And fortunately, the silly little tee-hee moments they have with each other in rather quickly, and we're off into the mystery of the swamp and the green and the dark. And we have some of that, and Abby gets infected with the dark and nearly dies, but of course Swamp Thing cures her by sprouting his vines that, well, I don't know. Anyway, so there's that, and then he tells her, you gotta leave and never come back because it's too dangerous, Abby. I can't bear it if you're hurt or whatever. And of course, we know that's not gonna last. Meanwhile, the rest of the soap opera of Murray continues, and that's pretty much what this series is. It really should be called Murray. You know, like Dallas. And so, what's her face? Oh, damn it, I'm forgetting her name. The sheriff, who's been having an affair with Avery Sutherland, and big spoilers revealed. Yeah, boy, didn't see it coming, huh? Yeah, Matt Cable is Avery's son. Yeah, that's right. So, she's all upset because Matt was set up by Avery and being corrupted by him. And, Mama Bear can't handle that. Meanwhile, there's a plot. Well, the big reveal is that she hatched the plot with Avery's wife. And Avery's all convinced that she's doped up on a Prozac or whatever. So after her freak out over her ghost daughter. So she's had enough of Avery and decides to rub him out and take over, because now she's interested in Dr. Woodrow's experiment. So she'll just be taking over the criminal business here. Probably, can you guess why she wants it? Because he seemingly was able to, sort of resurrect Cassidy, even though it had really horrific side effects, which is probably going to turn him into the Blue Devil. But she, since it saved him from a coma, which for the most part nobody actually recovers from because it was so bad, that she probably thinks that this a formula that he's working on can resurrect her daughter even after all these years. Boy, that's gonna stink. Anyway, so that's probably what she's thinking. Meanwhile, you get more insight into Woodrow, and there's actually, even though he's this creepy weird guy who barely has any social skills because he's just such a creepy nerdy guy professor, and you kind of wonder how he ended up with such a hot wife, but he did. But of course she's succumbing to Alzheimer's, and I know you're thinking, wait a minute, Alzheimer's, but you can get it as early as 50, so yeah, maybe that's where they're going with this. But anyway, he's wanting to cure that condition, and you see more signs of her, showing symptoms of the disease, and it's breaking his heart and everything. So there's a sympathetic aspect to his portrayal and characterization here, rather than just being the creepy weirdo who becomes a villain, which of course eventually he will, or I guess the plan was. We don't know how this is going to end. We only got 3 episodes left, and we're not going to get another season. So, but anyway, because he's destined to become the Floronic Man, if you know the comics. So anyway, so there's, again, with Abby and Swamp Thing, and they're exploring the green and all that sort of thing, and it goes bad for Abby, and then he saves her and she has to return home. But the plot against Avery goes off. At first, Avery gets the drop on him and probably should have pulled the trigger on his old girlfriend. But he ends up getting shot and stabbed and what have you. He stabs Matt, but he's brought back to the house and saved. And that's where we discover, it was a plot between the two women. And Avery Oh, he fell into the swamp and that's it, huh? He's dead. Well, by now they should know better. If you don't have the body, they're not dead. So, of course, Avery survived. He makes it to the bank in the swamp somewhere, and then the screen goes black. So, yeah, either the sinister dark forces will probably come get him and make a deal with the devil or what have you, or Swamp Thing will find him. And based on the description for next week's episode, it looks like, yes, Swamp Thing will save Avery, and then we'll see where that goes. But there you go. But anyway, yes, this was the best they've done, and everything seemed to click with the narratives that they've set up for this really creepy and sinister town in the swamp. And good Lord, why don't these people leave? Yeah. So this was 7 episodes in, yeah. But so, boy, I wonder if it gets even better than this, and then I'll be really upset that it's gone. And I still am. I think this was premature for at best. And it probably, well, again, was let go for other reasons. That's why there's worry that the DC service just isn't going to survive. We know that the Warner service is coming, and boy, that's sounding with 15 a month. I don't think so. And what's to become of these programs? Will they just be folded into it, or what have you? And then there's the drum beat for the Snyder Cut. Will that be on Warner's, and are they holding that back for that? I mean, it is just one movie. Even if they do release it, it would be a big deal. But I don't know. I mean, recently they put Zack Snyder's Watchmen on the DC Universe streaming service, and so I thought, oh, is this like a nod to that, and like for things to come, if they'll actually release it. And again, don't know how complete that film is and what amount of cost it would take to go ahead and finish it and then put it out whatever form it's supposed to be. And yet again, when it comes to Snyder Cut stuff, there were a couple of cuts. Snyder himself was actually doing reshoots and short. They wanted to shrink it down, and when the tragedy happened in his family, and so that's when he left the project. So who knows which version it would be? Would it be the really long one, or would it be a shorter one, or one that's just a little bit longer than the theatrical one? I don't know. But anyway, so interesting things there happening. What will be the future of the DC streaming service? And was Swamp Thing given the axe just because they didn't like it? Was it the tax deal they had with the location, which I keep forgetting where that was? I wasn't here. And or was it the service in itself is in trouble, just not getting the subscriptions it needs, and so everything's coming to an end? I mean, the only thing I've heard about is Teen Titans, and that they cast Batman and Superboy. So, but that's about it. And the actress who plays Starfire sent some pictures out of her new hairdo for the role, apparently. So I guess there will be a season 2 of Titans. But other than that, don't really know. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, there you go. Swamp Thing, brilliant disguise, which I'm not sure what that really means. I guess Alec Holland, even though we're going to find out he's not really Alec. He just thinks he is. But I don't know. Whatever. It was a good episode, so if you want to go check that out, there you go, Swamp Thing. Thank you for watching and listening. Say, why not like and subscribe, and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my mini stores with plenty of goodies for you. Liz, we've got some bad news. We don't have a turkey this year, and since you kind of look like one, well, yeah.
Burn the witch! Did you ever meet a witch, Driscoll?
Yes, and then I divorced her.
Well, it seems the forecast for this evening calls for partly cloudy to clear skies, except for you folks in Whitewood. It seems some idiot dumped a ton of dry ice into the ocean right off the coast, and so it's going to be pea soup fog for the next hour and a half. And now back to Rockin' Dale's Death Metal Marathon.
Oh, yeah.